What's up guys, and welcome back. Today it's time to do an oil change on Chloe here. So let's get through the steps of what we need to do an oil change on her. You're going to need a jack. You also need 2 to 4 jack stands depending on your preference. A 14mm socket. Full synthetic 020 oil. Doesn't necessarily need to be Castrol Edge, I just prefer this brand. An oil filter that fits the car, whether it's OEM or aftermarket, that is totally your preference as well. I personally prefer the OEM brand. A new crush washer, or if you're installing a Femodo oil valve, your Femodo oil valve. Something to drain your oil into, and a funnel to refill your car afterwards. So as you guys can see, I've already jacked up my BRZ and I'm ready to drain her oil. So let's get underneath the car and see where it is. So if you haven't seen the last video, jack points on a BRZ, I'll put that description right up here. This is the front mount, or the front jacking point of the car, just in case you were wondering how I got the car up. And right back here, you guys can see that. This right here is our 14mm bolt, and that's where our oil will be draining from. This is the 15-year model, so I don't need to remove the skid plate. I'm not sure about the other models, but for the 15 plus, you don't need to remove the skid plate to access your oil pan, which is really nice. So let's get started on getting that guy out. Well, I almost did it without making a mess, but I had a little bit of splashback, so I have to clean that up here in a bit. But I was honestly a little surprised with how much oil came flooding out of the engine. Out of all the oil changes I've done, I've never had oil flow out of an engine that fast. Maybe it was a little hotter than normal. And we're just gonna, need to put the camera down for this. Just going to apply just a tiny bit to this filter. And we're gonna get it on the O-rings nice and good so we get a nice seal when we put it back on the engine. Oh, that's nice. The Subaru OEM filter actually makes it so you can't get the debris out later. Alright. Wish I had known that. We're gonna get this down a little past hand tight, because I feel like when I first bought this car it was only hand tight and the filter kept coming loose. Had to keep retightening it. I tightened it down by hand to the point where I could no longer tighten it any farther. Put a lot of force into it, and it stayed on ever since, so repeating the process this time. Alright, now we've got our new oil filter on. The oil sounds like it's almost stopped draining from the bottom of the car. No, I think it has stopped draining from the bottom of the car. We can now go ahead and start refilling the car with new fresh oil. Only after we replace the plug down here with our new Femodo oil valve, and or stock one if you're going to stay stock, and with your new crush washer, because that's important. Alright, so I can't find the proper tool to tighten down my Femodo valve, so we're going to be using this. Let's get down there and install this puppy, because I can't wait to not have to remove that nut ever again. let's go through it. We've drained the oil, installed a new filter, installed our new Famoto oil valve, and or if you're sticking with your stock one, you've installed your stock one now at this point. Now it's time to refill the car. The car takes 5.2 to 5.4 quarts, which is unfortunate because I only have 5 quarts. I'll have to run to the auto store and pick up more. But let's get ahead and start pouring this oil in. Alright, now that that's all done, we've removed our oil pan from the bottom of the car. We've jacked the car off of the jack stands. Moving the jack stands out now. This side still seems to be a little too low. Get that up just a tad higher. Alright, now these cars are extremely low. When I put my jack back in, it went a little more far forward than I would have liked. Had to put some wood under there to make sure that I don't destroy my front bumper when I let it down. Well, let's get it started. We have to do this real nice and slow. And we didn't destroy the bumper! Woo! Alright guys, so that's how you change your oil on your BRZ, FRS, or GT86. The last thing we want to do at this point would be to, if you've added your 5.2 to 5.4 quarts of oil, I believe it's 5.4 with the filter, I still personally need to run down to O'Reilly's and fill it up. Get myself another quart or two. And so after that, you'll warm your car up for just a second, let that engine oil flow through. Get it all nice and swooshed around in there, get it on flat, level surface. Check your dipstick reading, make sure that it's full, and you're good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more content in the future. And I'll see you guys next time. Remember, make it your own.